Hello, kitten. Hello, Eddie. Hello, Augie. Ollie. Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jen. Today I'm going to be working in my Try Anything art journal. And this journal is just like its name, it is to try anything in. So I try out different techniques, use materials that I might not use very often, and just try not to overthink things and learn a little something along the way. Now in this video, I'm going to be doing 16 different pages for this journal. So I'm going to be going back and forth between the pages as I complete different steps. So if you'd like a preview of the finished pages, I will have pictures of each toward the end of the video that I will timestamp down below. Or if you miss a little something, don't worry, those pictures will be there for you at the end. Now, it's been a little while since I've been in this journal, so I'm just kind of flipping through and reacquainting myself with all the pages that I've done and just trying to get in the spirit and the vibe of the journal, and almost like a time capsule of Jen from the past, right? Now, thankfully, I had some pages that were kind of partially done already. So some of these are pre-gessoed. I have some that are almost finished, some painted backgrounds, and just some different interesting things to work with here. So definitely a fun starting off point. And yeah, like I said, we're just going to make some pages, have some fun, and learn some things today. And the pages are mixed media paper that are letter size that are folded in half. So for the first page, this is a pre-gessoed piece, and I'm just putting the paint to it, y'all. So I have a pink, a blue, and a white, and I'm pouring them on there, and then I'm just going to kind of smush it together to make almost like one of those psychology type test things. I forget what they're called, but just playing with it. It's been a long time since I've just started a blank page with paint, and it's something that I'm not as comfortable with and I'm kind of intimidated by, so it was fun to just try some things, learn some things, and see where it went. And for this next one, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just pouring some paint on there. Who needs brushes, right? And don't judge me too harshly, y'all. I poured the paint to this one. Like, I put way too much on there, but that's okay. And I got this roller doohickey here that I am just rolling it around, creating kind of like a mottled, mixed up marble type effect. And I was just having fun with it. Like I said, it's not something that I really use very often. I probably use this roller maybe 5 times if I'm generous. So just playing around with it. And I put so much paint on there that I'm taking a second page and I'm actually sopping some of that up so that it doesn't take a month to dry on there. Or if you actually put too much of this apple barrel paint down, it will crack on you. So unless that's something you're going for, just something to keep in mind. I've learned that the hard way. It'll crack and flake off. So and then there was so much runoff that I actually took the roller and I rolled that paint runoff all over this page to cover it, just to have, a solid color to start with there, or a solid, I guess it's not a solid color, but y'all know what I mean, right? Just a little painted background to work with. And once I got that on there, I just decided, why not? Let's add some more paint. So I got this really dark bluish purple, and I'm just going to roll that all over top as well. And it's kind of neat because this paint dries fairly fast, and the layer underneath was partially dried. It's sort of like sticking to the paint, and it just made a neat little pattern there. And thankfully all these colors I'm mixing together and just rolling and rolling, that didn't make mud. So I would have worked with it. I mean, dirt don't hurt, right? But thankfully it didn't make mud. Now I decided I wanted some pink in my life, so I just did a couple little dots of pink there and just started rolling that into the bluish purple, and just like that pop of pink, it makes everything better. And then to one side I'm actually going to add a little bit of light blue as well. So, and once this dried, I really did like the color combination it gave, but definitely I had a little much in the paint on there. But that's okay. We're still going to use it, y'all. And I'm just going to peel this up off my little plastic mat here. And we're going to do something with that paint that ran off. Don't y'all worry. So I had some of these pre-painted backgrounds. So I'm just taking a little brush I had beside my desk and I'm kind of smearing it on there. And then y'all know how I am with brushes. I didn't. So I just took the whole page and I smashed it in those little paint puddles. And it kind of gave it this really cool kind of cloud, kind of streaky effect on top of that I was really digging. So I like the effect that had. And I'm just smashing it in there, no rhyme or reason, and just having fun. And then I really, really liked the effect it had on the background that was painted with just black. It was almost like, dare I say, galaxy clouds. Dare I say it? I said it. But I do really like the pattern effect it had, and I need to remember that in the future. Taking solid colors and kind of smashing them into paint that's down on a surface like that. Now, while I'm waiting forever for that paint to dry, I'm going to play around with some pattern cardstock and make some instant backgrounds. So I have a lot of these cardstocks that I've gotten to use in planners or just picked up scrapbook pads over the years, and since they are cardstock, I'm just using glue tape to stick them on there because they're sturdy enough to hold up with that, and no drying time, and it's like an instant background. And since these are letter size, I cut one in half and then I flipped it over, and I have another background for another page. So this was the back side of that same cardstock. And again, I'm just using some glue tape because it is a sturdy piece of cardstock. And it's just fun to just try these and use different ones. I use these a lot in my planners, and I usually have little pages left over. And again, I'm taking another really neat piece of pattern paper and just making me a little instant paper background. That's another thing I want to get more comfortable with in the future, is just combining scrapbook paper or these pattern papers with magazine. My brain tends to work either or, so this is an opportunity for me to mix them together because it's not something that I usually try, and it's okay to try it. It's even okay if I try it and I don't like it. Now I am gluing this piece down. So this was from a scrapbook paper pad, and it's not cardstock, it's just regular paper, and this one I got at Walmart on clearance forever ago. It was like an Americana pack or like a farm pack or something, and there's just this random picture, like the whole thing, it's a 12 by 12 or foot by foot paper, and it's all black except for this little horse in the corner. Like, it's the most random, like funny paper to me. Like, I don't understand it, and I just knew I wanted it in here. And the horse just looks like, why are you taking my picture, bud? Like, what is going on? And I needed some animal print in my life, so I just wanted to add a little fashion corner to the corner of that page earlier. And y'all might notice through this video, I tend to keep my materials that I'm working with like right there. So I will grab stuff that I've cut off for other pages, and I will just start gluing them. Like, hey, that'll go here. Hey, that'll go there. And I try to use them as I have them right there. And now I'm gluing down another piece of patterned paper. This is another one that I got in a scrapbook pad from Walmart like ages ago. I used to go clearance hunting at Walmart, and you could find the color box pads for like $1 sometimes. And this was from those adventures. And it's just this neat like painted brick type of pattern there. So I just put it all in the inside to act as a start off point. So now I'm going in and I'm adding paper to my paper, because why not, right? So I have this little 6x6 pad, and this is actually from the first ever paper pad that I ever bought. It was the first collage supply that wasn't magazine that I ever used, because I had never had like scrapbook paper or anything before. So it's just something I never paid attention to. I'd always use newspaper and magazines and things like that. So I'm really trying to use up this little paper pad. But I just took it and I just ripped 2 pieces, and we're just making a neat little border there to add some visual interest. And then I decided to add a little more of that cheetah print in there, and I just ripped off a little piece and just putting it on there to add further texture and interest. Y'all remember the days when I had just the obsession with ripping the little pieces? I think it's coming back, and I'm kind of excited for it. Because why not, right? And I just like the different patterns mixed together there. And then I decided my horse needed a wall, if you will. So I'm taking part of the remnants of that brick piece, and I'm just putting it beside the horse there, because again, the whole 12 by 12 picture was literally, it's completely black, but for this little horse peeking out, like, I don't understand it. It's like the funniest thing. Maybe it like lends well to a large scrapbook page. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, speaking of that brick page, let's go back to it and let's add some visual interest to it as well. So I'm taking the other part of that little 6x6 piece, and I'm just cutting out some just random shapes. So triangles, diamonds, squares, just whatever my little scissors feel like cutting. And I'm just cutting them out. Some I'll be cutting the middle out of and just placing them on the page to kind of break it up a little bit and add some interest. I'm only placing it on one half of the page because when this goes in my journal, it's probably not going to be in the center of a signature, so you're only going to see one half at a time. So I'm not worried about both sides matching in this case. And I really like that blue on top of the yellow and orange. I'm digging it. So now I'm going to fussy cut the background out of this lady that's driving here, so that we're just left with the car and her, and that way we can use whatever we want to be her view out the window. And this is something spoiler alert, this is my favorite page of the whole bunch. But I decided to take her and put her on the now dry background where I had the pre-painted that I smushed in the run over paint, and it just creates this awesome effect. Like, I love this page. This is definitely in my top pages of all time. You all will see how it develops as we go on. I love it. And now I'm taking this image and I'm just cutting her down to size so that she'll fit on this half letter page, and just creating a nice straight edge because she'll be on the corner there. And just putting her on top of that rolled background that I did earlier that dried to this nice like marbly pastel. I'm digging it. And then on the other side, I found this girl that I already had cut out, and I kind of like it because she looks like she's like pondering something, and these almost look like pastel clouds. So perfect. I just happened to have her on my desk, and she's going right on here. That's where she belongs. One thing I do before I start a journaling session like this, where I'm going to be doing several pages, is I go through my stash and I pick out anything that I think I just might want to use on there, and she was on there. For the next page, I got this watch. And this is for the page that I added all those extra paint colors and things into, and I really liked how that dried as well. The colors kind of muted a bit, and it's just a fun background. I love it. I had this watch that has these little gold and heart details, and I've had it forever and I've not used it, and I'm like, just put it on here, just try it, just put it on there, it'll be alright, it's all good. And then on the flip side, I have this image that I've had forever. I have several of these. I think I used one in my witchy journal, I used one in my mixed media journal, so now I'm using one in my try anything journal. You get so much mileage out of these like hand images and you can like style them all different ways. Or I don't know if I used this particular one in my witchy journal, but I think I used another one from the same ad, so it now lives here, and I think it's a good home for it. So let's move on to the next page. This is the galaxy cloud page, if you will, that I've smeared in the paint. And I got this feller here that's climbing, but I'm gonna fussy cut that background out, and we're gonna turn him a different way to put on this page. because why not? Why not? And I've had him in my stash for a while, so we're going to get him on there. So instead of him climbing, I want it to look like he's almost fighting against some like force coming at him, if that makes sense. It's like he's holding on, but not climbing up. Like he's trying not to get blown away, if that makes sense. I just really like him. He's in black and white on top of that background, and I just really like the way that worked out. Another thing to note too, I'm laying the glue on because glue does not like to stick, or the glue and magazine does not like to stick to this paint too well. So just FYI. So now I got this guy who's sitting on this rock wall, and I think this is from my old Kindle ad. So he's sitting there reading his Kindle, just living his best book nerd life, deep into an adventure, and just reading a good book. What is better than that? I've been getting really back into books lately, y'all, and I just had to include this. I love it. And so I put him on the page with the different papers, and I thought it just fit perfectly. It's kind of like he's there reading, and he's got this whole world going on in his head that he's getting to dive into from reading those pages. So I thought it was cool because there's some of the feminine patterns there, so he fit really well. So now I got this page that I smushed together that made almost this bug cloud thing that I just had a lot of fun with. And I'm going to glue these animals, this dog and cat that's dressed as the Blues Brothers. This is actually from an old planner of mine, planner back like from 2013, 2015, somewhere back then. On the back it still had some of my to-dos. I just thought they would be neat and fun on there, and it's something I wouldn't normally use, so it's a fun little moment. And going with that animal trend, I have this I think it's a Doberman, is that right, that I fussy cut out, that I'm going to put on top of this really pretty floral background. I think she fits perfect on there. In my head she's a she, so very regal dog with her feminine flowers. I love it. And now we're going to go back to the brick background, and I have this model that is dressed up like as the Elton John Rocket Man. I think I got my reference there, and I just like her vibe and everything. So we're going to put her on this page with the bricks, fussy cut her out, get her cut to size, and then she's going to go on the side where I added the blue images, or the blue cutouts. And it worked really great with her arms and everything, and worked out great. And I mean, that outfit, yes. I couldn't pull it off, but she is pulling it off. I'm loving it. And once she's glued down, I'm just going to put this eye on the other side there. I love the way the colors jumped off. I had it picked out for my little pile that I harvested from my stash, and I can't think of a better home for it. So we're just going to lay that on there, smooth it down, and boom. Now I think I'm getting more comfortable with mixing scrapbook and magazine. It's working out good so far. And we're going to continue that trend, and I have this model here, and I'm going to fussy cut around her for this background. She just fits perfect with these like fashion patterns. And I took some extra magazine that I had that I cut off from some other images, and I'm just going to cut out some more shapes. Now for these, I'm concentrating more on petal-like shapes that are actually going to act as her wings. So she is actually going to become like a little magical fairy butterfly princess being here. So I ended up giving her 4 wings, and I glued them onto the back of her to make one image and got them placed where I wanted. And now once those are glued to her, I'm going to glue her down with them like as one image, if that makes sense. And that's something I've not done in a little while that I miss, is doing this type of layering. And I need to remember that and add that to more of my pages again. But we'll get her all smoothed down, and oh, I'm loving it. I can't wait to see where this goes. And we're going back to my painted page here, and I found this girl with the sunglasses, and I just have to put her on here opposite of the, the Pet Blues Brothers there. She just fits perfect. So we're just going to stick her on there. And just another lesson that I learned today. So I let these painted pages dry overnight, at least 12 hours. And they still had some moisture in them, and they ended up crinkling that last image pretty bad. So just learn from my mistakes. At least wait more than 24 hours. But these pages were actually pre-painted the last time I worked in this journal, so I was good with these. So I found this cool image from a fashion magazine that I fussy cut out, and she just belongs there. It just fit. I was going with it. I love it. I love it. The red pops off of there. Perfect. Okay, and now we're going back, and everything's dried, and we're going to start adding some words. So I decided for these pages, I'm not going to use my found words that I save from magazines and everything. I'm going to make my own with Sharpies, pens, and cardstock. As you see, I've done there, and I'm actually adding a border around with a metallic pen. So all the words I'm going to be adding and for the final steps on these pages are going to be ones that I either make with cardstock, I write directly on the page, or I'm going to break out my label maker. So we're changing it up. Like I said, we're trying things and seeing how I like it. And for this page, the words, it actually says hold on and break through. So I thought that was fitting. And honestly, I didn't do any research for words and stuff. I just did the first thing that came to my mind with these. So some of them are going to be silly and some more successful than others, but it was a fun creative exercise. So I found some more ephemera. So before I add words to this page, I decided I was going to add some of these little ephemera bits here. So I found this big old 4. I don't know what the 4 is for, but it's for this page at the minimum. And then I have this clock that I cut in half that I'm going to add on there because I didn't want the whole clock. I just wanted half of it. So we just got 12 to 6. And then I broke out my label maker. I got this one on sale a little while ago. I use it in my planner a lot. And I wanted to use it in some journal pages. And it was really fun. I liked the way the words came out. And I'm actually going to add words to the horse first. And I don't know why. When I was looking at this horse, I got that song in my head, the Who Can It Be Now? You're welcome. You'll have that in your head. And the horse just embodied that to me. So I added Who Can It Be Now? And then on the left, I'm going to make the words out of cardstock and Sharpie. And I'm just going to put finally escaping into the next story. So he's finally got a moment to sit. And I feel that. I feel that. Some days I just get to read my book for like 5 little minutes at the end of the workday. But I cherish those 5 little minutes. So, and then I'm going to be going in with pens of various thickness and just adding some details using a Sharpie, pens, white gel pen, just adding some texture and interest to the page just to finish it up. Because we're in the finishing stage, y'all. Can you believe it already? It's amazing what you can achieve when you just don't overthink it. You just go with it. Just go with it. And then I'm just adding for good measure some white gel pen around my Who Can It Be Now? I'm really trying hard not to sing that. Just so y'all know. It's hard. Alrighty. And then we're going to go to my page with my awesome fashion fairy here. I just love this page. This is another one of my favorites from this bunch. I just love it. And I'm just taking a marker and adding some almost leaf-like or feather-like details to her wings, which it just made them so much better. I also added that little pink letter ephemera thing to the top. And just going around her wings, before the end of it, I'll be adding black marker, white gel pen, and metallic marker on there just to add some details. And then I found this chipboard clock Apparently we're going with a clock theme today. So I'm going to add that up in the corner to play off that pink letter. And then I use my label maker to make the words, "Someday I will finally fly away." So this girl has dreams, and she knows her wings are coming one day. And she's going to go on to what she's meant to go on to, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to take my marker and add some more details. Just more visual interest, and I was just having so much fun on this page, just mixing things together and just getting more comfortable, trying things out, not trying to do anything perfect, just have fun. Have all the fun. I'm just adding some outline around her for her to stand out, and voila, there's the finished page. So fun. And next we're going to go back to my hand here, and I'm just going to make the word power out of cardstock. And it just made me think, I was thinking doing this page like that whole story about like elephants at the circus, and after a while they don't even have to be put on a leash because they're on their leash since they're little, and they don't even realize they have the option to leave. So I use "don't forget your power" because it just works for a lot of things. Don't forget you actually have power and you have choice to do things despite what society, whoever, your job, whatever, you always have some type of power. So just remember that. And then I decided to add some dots and dashes with some little shapes just to add some visual interest. Now I'm going to go around and do some swirly doos in the background with a gel pen and a metallic marker, just to add to the magic and scribbliness of it. And then I'm going to go back to my clock. And I don't know why, I just wrote on cardstock, "It's about that time." I just decided to get cheesy for a moment. Why not? Why not? So I did that, and then I outlined the little word pieces with highlighter just to make it nice and colorful. And then I'm just going around with Sharpie and gel pen and just adding some lines and little doodles in the background. And that's it. It's about that time, y'all. And then I have this girl here. Now she's interesting, y'all. She's interesting. So I'm going to be just writing directly on the page with a marker. And to me, this girl's got secrets. She's standing there all proper, everything. She's got secrets. So I'm writing, "They'll never suspect a thing." There's a story with this one. What do y'all think it is? What do you think she's got cooking up her sleeve? Is she a grifter? Is she something more sinister? I don't know. Maybe I've just been reading way too many mysteries and thrillers. But to me, like, she's the one you send in, and she can get in there and pretty much accomplish anything and get out of there, and no one will suspect a single thing. So then I'm just doing an outline around her, and then I'm just doing some doodles in the background to add some interest. And I just had a lot of fun with her. And then next I have this page here, and thankfully it was pretty much almost done. I just had to add some words with my label maker. It's another one of my favorite pages. It just has this wonderful metallic paint that's all built up, and just, oh, I love it. And I just did "building a mystery, becoming her own fantasy." So I'll let y'all just think what you want to think on that. But oh, love this page. I wish y'all could see the metallic effect and kind of the paint texture. It's just joy to look at on there. Then we're going to go to my brick page. So I'm just going to do with cardstock and Sharpie, "always watching," and then I'm adding this little ephemera up top, which is just like a time clock. How apropos. But "always watching." I'm at the point at my job, they literally see the moment like I step away from my computer for like 2 minutes. So this just feels very representative of my life right now. And all the spreadsheets that are probably out there tracking every little movement I make. So, and then I'm just taking a marker and pen and just making some swirlies around there and some just different marks and everything, just to add some more visual interest on top of that brick. And then we're going to go to the next side, and for the words, I'm just going to write directly on the paper. Just says fully embraced, shine on. And I just think of this like wonderfully eccentric person, and they have just embraced all their eccentricities, and they are just shining and living their best life. So I wrote the words in Sharpie, and then I'm going over top of the words with white gel pen just to make it stand out and just not have that really stark black on there. And then just adding some stars with some Sharpie and doodling a little bit with some white gel pen. How fun. And now we're going back to my little Blues Brothers pet. And I just made with my label maker move along. And then I'm going to be writing with my Sharpie friend. And I don't know why I hear this in Joe Friday's voice. Didn't y'all ever watch Dragnet? I said, move along, friend. That's not how he sounds at all, but you know what I mean. It's in his voice, but maybe it's in his voice with a little bit of a southern drawl, because in my head everyone has a southern drawl. But anyway, I'm doing the other page, and I just put nothing worth seeing here. Maybe they're a trio. Maybe they're a team, and she like fights crime and they think it's her, but it's really the cat and dog that solve the crimes. That's what I'm going with. And then for this page, I'm just writing painted on there. Now, is it war paint? Is it makeup? I don't know. Y'all tell me. I just wrote painted, and then we did some doodles, and I left it how it was. Okay, and then we have my girl here with her head in the clouds. And I just decided to write the words on there. So I'm just taking a Sharpie and I'm writing, keep that head forever in those great clouds. Eventually you can bring them down and make them your home. It's one of those things like people tell you, like, your head's in the clouds with this, you know, you're being unrealistic with this, etc. and so forth. And people just want you to drone on and, you know, y'all know what I'm saying, right? And I think it's always important to keep your dreams and steadily work toward them, whatever manifestation they take within your limitations. I know that's something really big for me. If I didn't keep my head at least partially in the clouds and have some type of dream and some type of goal where to be, I can't imagine. And I think so many times, or, you know, ambitions that people have, and people just put them down and they're like, you know, get your head out of the clouds and keep them up there, girl. Because one day you may be living in those clouds if the real estate ever gets cheaper. And then I'm just going through and adding some details with some pens, outlining her, underlining, and then up top in little pen I'm going to add dream on, girl. Dream on. Now, thank you. Y'all have another song in your head now. You're welcome. I was listening to a lot of music during this journal session. And now I got my regal, wonderful canine companion there. And I was being silly again. So I wrote out words. I wrote beauty, loyalty, strength, and Scooby snacks. Because I imagine if Scooby did a contemporary version like this, she would either be Scooby's boss or like a new and improved Scooby. Like, as silly as Scooby is, she's like the opposite. Does that make sense? And then I'm just going around and adding little details to the words and just all that. Or maybe she's super serious, and then when she gets a Scooby snack, she kind of lightens up a little bit. But that makes me think, what are in the Scooby snacks, y'all? Maybe they're just like pure freeze-dried beef. Maybe. Maybe. Do y'all remember when you could buy Scooby snacks for like kids? I still wonder about things. But we're going to go around and outline her with metallic marker and some gel pen just to have her stand out on that darker floral background. And just a regal dog that will be getting some Scooby snacks shortly. And then for the last page I'll be showing you all, this is my favorite from the whole bunch, so I left it for last. I'm going to be doing a label maker words here. It says the next dimension, and then I'm going to be going in with my marker and writing through. So we're going to have through to the next, or through to, so through to the next dimension. And my thought with this was like, she's driving in her car in that background, you know, like in the old sci-fi shows and stuff, they would be going like warp speed or going to a different like dimension or something, and there would be all these like star images flying past, and she just decided to drive on. So let's take a look at the finished pages. We have my mysterious girl, the hand. I really like that page. We have my Kindle reading guy. He's in a good book. We have my poor horse there, of course. This is another one of my favorites. I really like this one, how it turned out. We got my girl with her head in the clouds. Then we got my middle spread there with the eye and just the girl living her best life. The painted page. Oh, I just love those colors there. Got my crime fighting duo here. Just the facts. Then we have their companion here. Love this page. My little fashion fairy. One of my favorites as well. It's about that time. Another one of my favorites with the metallic paint. Really enjoyed it. Got my canine companion, and then lastly again we got my girl on the way to her next dimension. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different where I did multiple pages, so I kind of wanted to do a full journal session where I just went, what do they say, I just went ham. Is that the right thing that week? I had a lot of stress to work out, and when I did my studio tour, I was showing my different journals, and I put my hands on the Try Anything journal, and I just realized I wanted to work in it again. It's just good to journal some things out. I mean, that's like the whole premise of what I do, right? And so I actually ended up doing like 20 pages in this session, but for time I just showed the 16. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I also tried a different style of editing. Y'all let me know. I know a lot of people don't like the sped up video. So instead of speeding the video up, I just did a bunch of crops. I cropped out a lot of things that aren't necessarily needing to be shown, like all my gluing, grabbing all my markers, doing things. So I tried to cut out any like kind of dead space type scene. So hopefully that worked out okay. It's usually people have a preference. Some people like to see all the footage sped up, and then some people like to see nothing sped up. And I had close to 4 hours of footage that I had to cut down. So there's no way I'm going to upload a 4-hour video. That would probably take a month to upload with my internet. I live out in a very rural area, but no, just let me know. I always appreciate the feedback. And yeah, what did y'all think of this journal session? Do y'all just like trying things out and just making some pages and not overthinking it sometimes? So again, thank y'all so much for watching. I wanted to do a fun video before I get started on a big project that y'all will see me announcing soon. I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to end this video and get to working on that. And I hope y'all have a fabulous day. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all in the next art video. Bye guys.